Hi guys, my name is Todd and welcome to my very first YouTube video. I'm sure it's bound to be a crap sandwich, but you're welcome to sit here and take a bite of it. I started into drums back in my late teens, early 20s, and started in for about a year until I joined the military. And for the next 20 or so years I was out running the globe, and I really didn't have place or time for a drum set. I retired from there in 2011, and I've been kind of making excuses for the last 10 years of why that I haven't gotten back into it. But it took the death of bass player Dusty Hill from ZZ Top and Rush's outstanding percussionist Mr. Neil Peart for me to really get off my butt and do something. I knew I was going to start off with electronic drums, so I did some research on YouTube. And I came across YouTube pages for Kevin Williams, Demonic Sweaters, and 65 Drums. I'm not saying they're the best sites, but they had a lot of information. It was easy for me to understand, and they had a lot of content. And I enjoyed watching all the videos. I kind of was going to take Kevin's path and start with Alesis Nitro and add to it, but I didn't think that was that cost effective, so I decided to excuse my videography here, first time for everything. Instead of adding to one kit, I thought it might just be better to start off with two kits, and then I did. I initially was going to get an Alesis Surge, which I wanted was my main kit, and then I was going to add a turbo to it. So I bought the turbo. However, corporate office upstairs didn't authorize the Surge, but I still had the turbo coming, and so I was going to switch to the Nitro. But then at the last minute realized that the Nitro's rack was not the same thickness, so I couldn't use it. So I opted to get the Lyxjam EDM 800 8-piece drum set, and I combined those two. Spent about 2 days trying to engineer the new rack and the layout for it, and when the EDM or the Lyxjam drum came, it took me about 6 hours to get it together. And after about 4 or 5 change around and mess arounds, this is what I've come up with. Okay, I don't know if you call it Frankenstein, or I kind of partial to Cadzilla myself, but this is the mix of the two drum sets. I'm using the turbo as well. I'm using the turbo as module right now, and it's slaved to the Lyxjams. The sounds really aren't that good on the Alesis. The Lyxjam, it's not too bad, and there was a couple reasons why I went with the Lyxjam drum set. I really wish I could have got that Surge, but no biggie. But the module was similar to the Nitros, I thought, in function. However, once I really got down to it, it doesn't have all the hidden features that the Nitros has. But the sounds aren't too bad. And one positive aspect of the Lyxjam drum is that each of the drum heads are all dual triggered. And right now I'm just waiting on some 1/4 inch lines. I've already got the splitters for all the drums and the cymbals, and they're ready to go. I'm just waiting for the extension lines. About both racks, upon first inspection, the Alesis, there's 3 of the pads on this side of the drum, the other one's over here on this side. The Alesis was very well built. The pads are really nice quality. They don't look like cheap junk. Nice mesh heads on them, and the rack is really nice. And here's actually the turbo's vertical upright that I'm using as a horizontal because it's longer than the Lyxjams, so I can actually support 3 toms and cymbals on it. Whereas the Lyxjam is just black shiny metal. the pads on the Lyxjam are surprisingly beautiful, and they're very bouncy, and you can get some really nice rolls off them. I'm sure the Turbo's pads could be the same way if I tighten them. However, I don't know how to do that because I'm pretty much dumb. So I would have to find a video on how to tighten them properly so I don't screw them up. Also for the Turbo, the hardware that connects everything together is a lot heavier duty than the Lyxjams, as I've already broken one piece, but I fixed it. But you really have to be careful about tightening it, and the drums do loosen up and start to, you know, drop down a little bit. You just got to tighten them a little bit. I'm going to have to put a piece of black tape on it just to hold it, to make sure they don't move. Also combining another one of the features of the Lyxjams I liked, it's verticals, which I'm using the verticals on, had a cymbal mount at the top, which saves space on the horizontals, and I like that. But again, its actual horizontal wasn't wide enough, so that's how I took turbos and more or less moved it sideways and used it for horizontals, and it worked out pretty good. Also put the other one towards the bottom for more reinforcement, and I learned something with it, with the mounts for both drums. I added, because I had a lot of spare parts, I added this one in here, these horizontals in here, just L shape, and also put a leg down from the spare parts, because after a while of you hitting the snare, it also was beginning to drop. And the same thing with the hi-hat, because the mount really could not hold it strong enough, or hold it well enough. So I added that on there, and this seems to be the trick, because it's not going anywhere other than that. You know, it's fairly rigid. Another feature of the Lyxjam that I liked, it has an actual kick pad, whereas the Alesis does not. It has one of these, I don't know what the hell you'd call it. It's a little foo-foo pad, but it's kind of next to useless. I really don't like it. I mean, it's good for the hi-hat. However, the bass drum is somewhat lacking, and trying to work this pad along with the kick pad and trying to get a double bass going, you don't train one foot to do one thing and one foot to do the other. I mean, you have to operate both differently, and that's not really too hot, but it is what it is. So as my drums are set up like right now temporarily, of course the hi-hat, but this is going to be an effects snare above, probably timbales, I'm not sure yet, or actually maybe electronic drums, sounds of electronic drums. And then I have my 3 rack toms, and then this will be a floor tom. Gonna have a China, and then my ride, of course. It's gonna be crash, splash, crash. Another thing about the differences between the two drum sets, the Alesis cymbals I really don't like as much. They don't have as good a sound. Plus, when I started off using wooden drumsticks, every time you hit the pad, it would leave a mark, whereas the Alesis would not. I really like the Alesis cymbals a lot, or the Lyxjam's cymbals a lot better. And also, the cymbals on the Lyxjams are chokeable. Both of them are. Had I gotten the Alesis Nitro, of course, their cymbals I believe are chokeable also, and they also have double heads. I'll give you a real quick view of everything else on the kit. Oops, and I gotta fix this. Sorry, I moved some stuff around again. All the cables are kind of linked up temporarily, because I do have to, once I get the extensions, I have to take everything back off and reroute everything with the splitters. Both modules are hooked up the easy way. Through the phone jack of the Turbo to the in port of the EDM 800, and that way I can play all the pads, although you're getting a mix of sounds. I do have 2 extra spots on the EDM 800's modules where I can add extra pads and cymbals, and I've got splitters on those, and I've got most of the turbo set, or most of the turbo drum pads and cymbals on the big module, but I'm still have to use the turbos for the other ones, the remaining ones, until I get the rest of the wires. And we had a issue with Amazon when I ordered all the extra wires, the extensions, because it keeps defaulting to the one credit card that we don't only use on rare occasions, and it didn't take the one we had put in, and it just kept getting canceled and canceled and canceled. It's a pain in the ass. But we finally got squared away, and both the items have been shipped, and I should get them in 2 days. As far as shipping goes, I got a little trick for you. When you order something on Amazon, you always have pay options. You know, pay the full price for the kit, but you need to look down below it where it says, or try this option, that it's used. Now, my Alesis Turbo, I bought used. As soon as I clicked on that to order it, I looked to see where it was coming from, and it was coming from the Amazon warehouse. Good idea, this is. So when I ordered it, it got to my house a day early, completely unopened. Not a box, not a scratch on it. So someone had ordered it and then canceled it probably after it was already shipped. So it comes back to the warehouse as used. So just by somebody changing their mind, it came back to the warehouse. I bought it for $50 less. And you can save a hell of a lot of money if you do it the same way. I might replace the EDM module, EDM 800 module, with an Alesis Surge module. It'll give me a lot more options, a lot more things I can do with it, a lot more mighty stuff. And I found one on Amazon used for 119 bucks. It's a lot cheaper. And same thing with the Nitros module, which I wouldn't mind having either. But that's how I buy everything now, is I go for the used option first, providing it comes out of the Amazon warehouse, because you can pretty much trust that probably. So I might replace that also, and also get a larger pad, drum pad, and mount on the foot base, and get a dual pedals. And I found those on there too, and they're not very expensive if you look around. But just remember, always try to go for the used option. But back to the kit. It's both kits are pretty cool. I mean, if I were to do anything differently, I probably would have gotten the Lyxjam 8-piece with the 7-pieces, the small one add-on. Or I should have just got, well, yeah, what I actually should have done is bought 2 nitro kits and put them both together, and then download the DAW and the drum program, or maybe not at all, and just use the module to change all the individual pad sounds, and everything would be matching. I mean, the Lyxjam 8-piece doesn't really offer you more than, well, actually offers you less than the nitro, but I'm happy with what I got. I've had nothing but fun with this kit, doing my little lessons for a little while, and then of course I spend a little bit more time just kicking back and putting on an album like ZZ Top El Loco or Eliminator, or just about anything from AC/DC, as Phil Rudd is the human metronome, and if you just want to play a straight groove, he's the man to listen to. Both kits have been just wonderful. Putting them all together into one big monstrosity such as it is has been great also, so it's been a win-win the whole time. I don't know what else to tell you, but please go on if you're and excuse the mess. Everything's got to be, all the wires got to be straightened out and tightened up. But if you're looking into doing something like this, I'd say this is the best way to go instead of buying a single kit and then adding on to it. If you can afford it, go on to Amazon and order 2 kits and check the used box, you know, if it's available and used. And just enjoy and make sure the racks are the same size. But enjoy putting them together and see what you can come up with. I did. I mean, this is, I wouldn't go back. Well, I'm very happy, I'll just say. But anyways, I just wanted to show you my kit. And also like and subscribe, or go to, not mine, I could care less if you did it on my page or not. You know, I'm just going to put out a couple of videos here and there, and I'm not worth a crap anyway. So, but go to Kevin Williams' site, or Demonic Sweaters, him and his crazy shirts. He's a kind of eccentric, but he's pretty cool. And also 65 Drums, because the amount of content they put out is just amazing, and you'll learn quite a bit. However, they need to do more videos on lower dollar kits like these, because every time they do a video on it, it's usually on a Roland kit and all that crap. And I mean, you think I'm going to spend $3,000 on a set of electronic drums? Not a chance. But anyways, you guys have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.